Talking Trash, a Green Tips podcast, is a chance for me to jump into the world of sustainability by talking to people in business, government, and nonprofits. Hi, I'm Peggy LaPointe. You can find weekly episodes every Tuesday at KINK.FM, Apple iTunes, or wherever you download podcasts.
Can we start over?
Sure. Why?
It was me. It wasn't you. It was me.
Okay. Can you unfunk yourself though?
I'm gonna. I'm gonna unfunk myself.
Okay. Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Is that more energetic for you?
It was better.
This is take two because you thought our first intro was not that good.
I was in a funk.
Dude, you are in a funk. You have to unfunk yourself.
I'm trying to unfunk myself.
Because this is how our intros go. Like, there's no, like, amazing intro. Maybe we should have somebody write one.
Do it. We could do that.
Like a song or something.
Yeah, but, a song.
Well, what were you thinking?
Just like an intro.
A monologue?
Get somebody to do a VO. Little VO action and...
All right. Well, we can talk about that.
Okay.
We can think about who could do that. We know peeps, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so what's up? How's it going?
It's great. I'm no longer in a funk.
Okay, please, just get out of it.
I can't. We do this at work.
I know.
And literally
so your work
moments before we walked into the studio.
Okay, but let me say this.
Yeah?
So you got some shitty news right before we walked in that you have to go deal with after this is over.
Right.
Let me say this. How many times a week does that happen to both of us?
All the time?
A bazillion. So just know it's another one of those.
Okay.
So just
all right.
What's the word I'm looking for? Compartmentalize it.
Sure.
And put it in the back of your head.
And then I can walk out of here as
and then be pissed.
Just an angry redhead that I like to do.
It happens every single day of our lives. Like, that's what you do is put out fires. So,
okay.
Anywho.
I'm great.
All right.
How are you?
Good. It's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh, should I say that? Because we put these out on Fridays. Whatever.
Do you think people are listening to a podcast and thinking it's live?
Maybe we should do one of those sometime. All right. So let's just get right to it there, sir.
Yeah, you got some lists over there, subjects you'd like to cover.
Well, I have a topic, but let me preface by saying, and I think we've covered this already, I'm not book smart. I'm street smart, but I'm not book smart.
Okay.
And by that, I mean, like, I only take bits and pieces from the news and understand them.
Okay.
Okay. So with that said, the government shutdown, right?
Right.
We're in, like, I don't know, week 5.
Day 31.
Okay, you know these things. You're pretty street or book smart. Not street smart, but book smart. We could get into that later, but that's for a different time. Okay, so, but I just started thinking, because these people aren't getting paid, right?
Yeah.
Right now. You and I work for the same company.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So
all of our eggs are in one basket.
In one basket. So let's say, like, there was a shutdown of our company, we'd be screwed. What would you do? So I was thinking about this because, like, the TSA, they're having a hard time getting people to come in. I would work all the overtime. I would work all of it. I don't know how we would live. Right. How we would survive. We'd probably, like, ask my parents for some money.
Okay. So
we have a little bit of savings.
We established in episode 2 of this podcast that you never look at your bank account.
Right.
Never.
Ever.
So let the record show Randi does not look at her bank account. However, the other day you were looking at your your pay stub, trying to make sense of this. And I was just like, why are you trying to do this? You have no reference.
Oh, do you want to get into this right now? Okay, listen. I have this thing where, like, when I turned 40, I was like, I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to
and you did.
Right. And I'm going to get healthier. So I did that. When I turned 41, I said to you, I'm going to get more involved with our finances.
Sure.
I did say that. It hasn't been like a progressive.
It's been 7 months and suddenly you're like,
stop. No, I have been trying to. But here's the problem.
Okay.
You get so protective of everything. And so when I ask questions about it, you get all like defensive and you're like, why do you need to know? And I'm like, well, that was the whole plan. Yes, you have. And so I did look at there was an email that came out from work that said, hey, it's the first paycheck of the year. Please check to make sure all your stuff's right.
Right. Okay.
So I got in there and looked.
And you're like,
and what is this?
You. Yeah. And what does this 3 mean?
So if I inquire about it, are you going to be bugged?
Am I $500 richer?
if I inquire, are you going to be bugged?
I'm not bugged.
Are you not on board with this?
I'm completely on board.
Then you have to be on board.
I am on board. I just, my point is, let me backtrack here a little bit. At no point have I ever said to you, why do you need to know? Why would I say that?
You just said, I was thinking, why is she looking at that? Why is all of us?
Well, no, I don't mind you looking.
Oh, jeez.
Never mind.
There's rules. Right. There's rules. Listen, point blank. Do you or do you not want me to try to understand our finances?
I do, but
But on your terms.
Well, listen, anybody who does their family's books, that does their family's accounting, has a system. I have a system that makes sense to me because I've been doing it since we've been married.
All I did was ask questions. I didn't tell you to change your system.
No, okay. I think what it was is you asking about what appeared to you that you're like, is this $500 more per paycheck that I'm getting right here? And suddenly in my mind, I'm like, Randy's going to go on a spending spree suddenly because she thinks she's $500 a paycheck.
When have I ever done that?
Never, but just the idea. Just the idea of it was a little frightening.
So listen, you have got some issues. So here's the plan. I'm not going to ask any more questions about finances until you work through this shit that you've got going on.
I am totally fine.
It's like the day that you threw the check in front of me to sign for the quarterly taxes. You're like, here, we're gonna do this right now. And I was in the middle of unloading the dishwasher.
I'm a strong believer that if you're ever lucky enough or unlucky enough to have to pay quarterly taxes, which is, depending on what you're making, it's probably going to be one of the biggest checks you write, short of like paying for a house,
right,
with cash. It's like a crazy amount of money, and I'm like, everybody needs to experience this. And the quarterly taxes were due, and you needed to sign it.
Listen,
I wanted you to do it.
That's not my point. I'm totally on board for that. It's the fact that you all of a sudden declared it in the middle of me doing 1,000 things. You wanted me to drop everything and do it, and you were gonna teach me.
Gotta pay the man. Gotta pay the man.
You were gonna teach me all of it, and I was like, oh my God.
No, I wasn't gonna. So my goal was not to teach you. I just wanted you to write that check.
See, all right.
Because part of it is writing that big check.
Great. We're going to put a bow on this. Here's the deal.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask any more questions until you work through whatever this is that you have, these control issues over the finances. You and I both agreed to it, and now you've got all these rules. So, end of story. You figure out what your deal is before I ask any more questions.
I just want to say,
do you understand? Do you see this now?
I don't think. Never mind.
This is where people don't they're like, you're the loud one, you're the outgoing one. Cort's always so quiet and so like agreeable. And I'm like, you have no idea what happens behind closed doors. This is what I deal with.
Oh yeah, I'm a jerk.
You're a monster.
Yeah, I'm a monster.
No, but you save this for me. All of this comes out for me.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. I guess if I'm lying on the couch here, revealing all my true thoughts and feelings, it's the fact that for the past 15 years, I have dealt with that solely.
Right.
With little to no interest from you about it.
Right.
So you can't get angry at me that I'm a little thrown off. I've got a system. I can look at all these numbers and see them all, and it's like looking at the matrix, and I can tell where everything is.
Right.
And it'll take some time for you to sit down and see my process, that what bills are paid on mid-month and what bills are paid at the end of the month and where our savings is going into and what those actually mean and if it's actual savings or that's not really savings.
I got it. But the question is, do you want to teach me or not? That's the thing. I think the truth is coming down. I think you like having it.
After this conversation, I don't want it.
So there we go. Yeah. Problem solved.
Okay, right? so I will just There are a lot of people, to your point, who live paycheck to paycheck, and I think a lot of Americans do.
Yeah. Oh, you're circling back around.
What I'm circling back around is we would not have to go ask your parents for money for about 3 months.
You think?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We'd make it about 3 months.
Do you have a secret nest egg I have no idea about?
Maybe I do.
Maybe you do, because all I know about is the little account that I have a, which we both know about.
Right.
The little account having a little bit of money going into, but that wouldn't last us 3 months at all. That might get us.
I'm making about 3 months.
You do have. I knew it. You have a secret nest egg. People talk about this. A psychic told me like 3 years ago in Mexico, she was like, you need to know your finances because there are things going on. Not bad, but there are things going on that you don't know about. There's a secret nest egg. I knew it. I knew it.
No, there's not.
You know what my therapist said too? She's like, you always go to the worst conclusion, but she said most of the time you're accurate. I knew it. All right. Well, I guess we'll have to talk about the secret nest egg afterward. You know what typically happens?
You are aware of all my accounts.
Typically happen. I'm aware of them. I have no idea what's in them.
Okay, that's not my problem. It's not a secret nest egg. All right.
Let's move on.
Let's move.
So, all right, good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
We could live 3 months.
All right, so I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
How much sports is the right amount of sports for me to be participating in? I mean, by that I mean watching per week, because you said something to me on Sunday where you're like, "Are you done? Is this it for the day, or is there another game?" And I'm like,
it was 8:00 at night.
Yeah, it was the
Patriots
Chiefs game.
Yeah,
like everybody in the United States was watching that.
Right.
I've something has happened. I will openly admit this. Something has happened to me within the last 2 or 3 years where I've become kind of nostalgic towards my teams.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out if it's that just, as I get older and the girls are kind of a little more independent and I'm not helping them with homework as much as we used to. We're not, we're all kind of
they're a little more self-sufficient.
So I've got a little more free time. I have no hobbies, but I grew up watching the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
And so us living here in Portland, I can't watch the Utah Jazz. So I'm seeking it out. And then I'm just like, oh, this I really like it. And the team's got, there's some good character there.
Yeah.
And so I'm loving it, but I can't decide if it's me being nostalgic, if it's me coming of age, in my early 40s, or maybe just the Jazz's marketing is really, really good. That's just created this in me because I watch these videos and I'm like, oh yeah. So you've actually let me get the league pass so I can watch the games.
I let you. Oh no, you're in charge of the finances. You know if we can afford it.
I ask permission. But so my question though is, at what point
is it too much?
Is it too much? Because in basketball there's 2 or 3 games a week.
Yeah.
Football will be over here pretty soon because the Super Bowl is just a couple weeks away, week and a half. So that will be out of your hair. You don't have to worry about that until September.
You have basketball.
Basketball through, depending how far they go, till mid June.
No, that's funny because I thought about that topic too, because you have been, and the girls are more self-sufficient, and so it doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that you don't multitask. So you literally sit in the big chair in the TV room.
Yeah.
Like for hours.
That is not entirely true. During commercial break.
I hope this isn't just us arguing the whole time. Like my father has said.
Yeah, what was it? You shared this? One of our big fans said,
I just quoted my dad because he called last night because he's been listening, and he said, "Man, I just thought you guys argued all the time, but apparently you do have a little bit of chemistry." No.
Okay, so what you're saying is, if I were to multitask more, whilst watching whatever,
yeah, I'm down.
You'd be less apt to be like, oh, another game.
Well, I'm not another game. There was something going on, and I asked you, I needed you to go like do something, run an errand. That's why I was asking, is the game almost over?
Yeah.
Can you go do blah blah blah? We were ramping up for Sloane's birthday too, so I think there was something I was going to see if you could go do. If you did it's the load the dishwasher while the commercial breaks on or whatever.
I do that sometimes.
Sometimes. The other thing is that it's typically on the weekends, and I'm like, oh, we got to blah blah blah, and you're like, oh, I'll do it, and then you forget, and the game, whatever game is on, and I'm like, I feel like I have to gently nudge you like, hey, were you going to go buy the dog his $1 million dog food? And you're like, oh, yeah, I totally forgot. And so it's all good. Listen, it doesn't bother me that much. The girls, I putter around the house all weekend long anyway. So doing this, that, and the next thing. But if you could multitask during it, that would be great.
Well, I can't watch a game and buy the $1,000 dog food.
No, but you could clean up a little bit. But,
sure.
But I was thinking about it too, because you have really gotten into it, and I think it's our age. I think that you have a little more time. It's something that you enjoy.
Right.
Which is fine. Have it. We all should have something that we enjoy. I'm fine with that.
Okay, follow-up question.
Yeah.
Can I spend a bunch of money to go see the Jazz when they play the Blazers like next week?
Yeah, I think you should. I think you totally should. Who are you going to go with?
You.
What time is it at? Is it on a school night?
It's a school night.
Ugh. I was telling you this the other day. That's what I miss about living in Salt Lake, because we literally lived less than 20 minutes from the arena. So a school night, no biggie. Now we live like 45 minutes from
on a good night,
the Moda Center. I know. And it's like, it's an entire, like, you get home so late. But whatevs. If that's important to you, I'll go. What day of the week is it?
It's Thursday.
All right. That's not terrible, because Friday's the next day. We'll see.
All right.
I'm down. You should enjoy something.
I got to see if we got enough money for it.
All right. You want me to do my next topic?
Yeah.
Okay. I watched. See, and the thing is that, like, you've been watching a lot more sports. I feel like I've been watching a ton more TV at night, because also our girls take dance lessons, and they're there Monday through Saturday, every night until like at least 7:30. So you and I are at home twiddling our thumbs. Mm-hmm. I'm not checking bank accounts. I'm watching TV.
Right.
I'm basically watching Netflix, whatever's on. So last night I watched the Fire Festival documentary.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, it was this festival that was supposed to take place in the Bahamas, and it was supposed to be like the ultimate music festival
and luxury.
Yeah, I think the tickets were like $250,000 or something, and it was crazy. And you'd get a yacht, and you'd get all this stuff, and it ended up being bunk. And the guy is now, I think he's in prison.
He's in jail.
Yeah, for years for defrauding, a bunch of people, including all the investors. So anyway, because we're in the music industry, I kind of I watched it with that kind of eye, and I was like, well, could this be possible to happen? Not to the caliber that it happened, but I'll tell you, like, all the people that were working with him were like, he wouldn't take no for an answer. He was like, figure out how to make it happen, and I've worked on music festivals before. You have too.
Yeah.
That happens. Like, it totally happens where, like, the person running it's like, I don't care, figure out how to make it happen. And you're like, oh my God, okay.
Right.
And, you know, so I could see how things could get, and by the way, he was spending money he didn't have, banking on the fact that they would make it back with the admissions and the passes that they were selling for like meet and greets and all of that. You're grinning because you know we have done that a million times here.
I may have just recently done a show like that.
Totally. We do that all the time. So people were like giving him shit about that and like talking about it like, oh my God. And he was just banking on the fact, well, we do that. And truth be told, we've lost money because we have banked on attendance before.
But you had the difference is you had the money backing to cover the bills
leading up to it.
Yeah, there was no profit at the end of the day.
No, but we spent more money than we had.
Right.
But I see what you're saying. We had the money to spend. But I mean, we've taken some big hits. My favorite example, I don't know if it's favorite. Sometimes I go and speak at like conferences or like students that want to get into radio. And they always ask me to add in the end, tell them your horror stories.
Yeah.
And so one of them is that we put on a show years ago, only like 5-6 years ago, in the Gulf area.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of money on talent and a lot of money on infrastructure and everything, hoping that we would make it back. And the craziest part is, so it was a Friday, Saturday night show. And the craziest part is that we had bought rain. It was in May in like Gulfport. Mm-hmm. And we had bought rain insurance up until like literally like 8:07 p.m., okay? So everything's going along just great. And then it just starts to sprinkle a little bit, like around 7:30, 7:45. And I kid you not, it was like 8:11, lightning hits the stage. Lightning strikes the stage. The speakers, the wires break. The speakers come crashing down, and sideways rain and wind start happening. And the entire stage is getting blown over. And we were in a trailer in the back with our jaws just agape, like, oh my God. So needless to say, we had to cancel there was like 3 headliners still waiting to go on. We had to cancel that night. We didn't get, the rain insurance didn't cover it because it was like. It
was after the time period,
minutes after.
Right.
And we lost a ton of money on that. So my whole point is I can see to an extent how that can happen and how you can bank on, we're going to make so much money back.
Right.
Now, this was like the ultimate, but there was a piece of me that felt empathy for them, like, no, I could see how some of this could go down a rabbit hole because we've been there, we've lived it. So that's my whole point.
And your next announcement is that you are going to start your own music festival in the Bahamas in 2020.
Yeah, called the Ice Festival.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, I thought that was interesting because, again, like I said, it was kind of relatable, and that guy is a total schmuck. And
well, I think there's a lot of businesses, whether they they full on like Ponzi scheme type thing, or they spend money to make more money. This thing where like it sounds, and I haven't watched the documentary. There's 2.
Oh, you did?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
there's 2 of them because there's one on Netflix and there's one on Hulu.
Right, I'm going to watch the Hulu one next. Well, the guy's a schmuck because after he was already out on bail for
He did something else.
He did. And that was another one where I was kind of empathetic too. So they were giving away these experiential things like backstage meet and greets to Taylor Swift, and they would like email you and be like, hey, if you want this, we've got it for this great price. Or they would fly you to the Grammys. And so people started digging in and finding out like you can't, Taylor Swift doesn't do meet and greets or the Grammys, blah, blah, blah. But here's what people don't know is that you and I both know you could get on the phone with a record rep or a label and go, look, here's what I need. We support your artist very well, blah, 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 blah. And sometimes they can make those things happen. So I don't think he had those connections. I don't know what he had, but I know that we've been able to pull off crazy stuff that typically doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because of our relationships with the labels. So again, I was kind of like, well, it's kind of a gray area.
Well, I think that's probably how the festival came to like. People showed up for the thing because there's some legitimacy to it.
Yeah,
all these people that have done music festivals before were working on it.
Totally. Yeah. That's why they kept following.
Like, okay. I've worked for a jerk before.
And they knew. They were like, I know that I have to pull a rabbit out of my hat. I've had to do it before. Yeah. So anyway. That's my defense of the Fire Festival.
All right, well, there you go.
There you go. What else? What do you still kind of seem like you're in a funk.
No, I'm good. You feel?
I'm feeling a little bit of the irritation. Like you're a little irritated.
No, I'm not. I'm not irritated in any bit.
All right. Okay.
So this is where we share things the kids have said.
Yeah.
I don't have anything written down.
You are in a funk today.
No, I just didn't. I didn't have any meaningful conversations with our children this week.
This is week 3. If you can't keep up the content on this thing,
you're gonna find a new host to be married with and do. Oh,
yes,
easy.
There you go. I do have something.
Okay.
So Quinn read the book Dumplin'.
Yeah. Which is now a hit Netflix movie.
Right. And so the girls like the movie. And so this weekend, Sloan was like, will you please watch it with me? So I watched it. And meh. It was meh.
Okay.
And so by the second half...
Jennifer Aniston's performance didn't just bring you to tears?
Yeah, and I guess I watched the credits. I think she did it. I think she's the director on it.
Maybe.
Yeah. But by the second half, I was predicting all of it. I was like, oh, well, this is going to happen, this. And Sloan goes, what? Have you seen this before? And I was like, no. And I kept doing that. And she's like, Mom, just tell me you've seen this before. And I'm like, no, this is the formula for a rom-com. Like, basically. I said, this reminds me of, it had so many like of those coming of age.
It was cliched.
It was very cliched John Hughes movies. And I was like, oh, this will happen. And I thought that was funny. But I said to them, I said to both the girls, it reminded me a lot of like 16 Candles.
Yeah.
And so I said, we should watch that. But isn't that inappropriate?
I think 16 Candles is R.
No way.
Yeah, I think it's R.
How it up. I'm going to look it up right now. But you do?
Yeah.
And I think it's PG-13.
And I also think, all right, 1984. I'm looking here.
Yeah.
Looking.
I know. And I told Quinn, I said, it's PG, dude.
Oh,
it is PG.
What?
Back in the 80s.
It's got, hold on. I'm looking here on IMDb.
Yeah.
And here are the plot keywords that are in here. Brother-sister relationship. Wedding ceremony gone awry.
Yeah, it's...
Teenage girl. Okay, wait, here. Female nudity. Female frontal nudity.
Yeah,
now, Greg, this was 1984. PG-13 didn't exist.
Oh, I think is there boobs in this?
There might be.
I'll have to watch it. But
PG-13 didn't exist in 84.
I told Quinn that it had like very timely things that would not be accepted today. Like there's some racist stuff in there.
Sure.
There's like insensitive stuff. I mean, there's the whole thing about Anthony Michael Hall being like a total nerd and a geek. And Quinn said, I get it because, she binges The Office.
Right.
And she said, even The Office has things in there.
And that's just, we're not too far off from when that concluded. Right.
She's like, it's got some stuff. So
yeah, I mean, long duck dong.
I know. So I'm kind of debating letting them watch it, but maybe I'll watch it first. But when I was Quinn's age, I was obsessed with that movie. My Uncle Tim had recorded 16 Candles and Weird Science on a VHS back to back.
Yeah.
And I used to watch that thing all the time, just back to back. 16 Candles, Weird Science. And Weird Science is pretty inappropriate too.
Oh, sure.
But maybe it's a cut, she's got to see it. I don't know. So I'm debating letting
coming
her see
of age. She's going to come of age by watching 16 Candles.
Yeah. And how inappropriate.
Well, if you determine that you want to watch, that you let them watch that, can I show them, I don't know, like movies about Nazis?
Like what?
Valkyrie.
I've never seen that.
Oh, you haven't seen that?
No.
I was listening to another podcast that was actually talking about the plot to kill Hitler.
Yeah.
And both girls, Sloane and Quinn, were just fascinated. So we were listening to them going through the details, and then they're talking about it, how it corresponded with the movie Valkyrie.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait a minute, there's a movie? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, can we watch it?
Maybe this coming weekend, I don't know when we're going to have time.
Right.
You and I watch 16 Candles and we watch that, and then we can determine
then we watch Valkyrie?
Valkyrie, yeah, and then see what we want them to watch. My other kid thing for you, dude, I am getting so fed up with the fact that they will not walk the dog.
Right.
It's becoming like a thing. And I was so mad at them the other day when I asked both of them, and they just started arguing about who should have to do it, that I literally picked up the leash and I wanted to scream everything at them, and I go, I'll go do it.
And then they're like, no, Mom, I'll do it. I'll do it, Mom. Did they do that?
They were like, well, Mom, no, you shouldn't have to do it, but Sloane should have to do it, but Quinn should have to do it. And I was like, I wanted to say such mean things to them.
Right.
That, I did say the F word to them during last weekend.
I don't know why I just gave you a shocked look.
Because it was during the competition. And what were they arguing about? Oh, it was in the morning, Saturday morning or Sunday morning. It was early. So it was like 6:30 in the morning. And they were arguing about who had put something in the hair, because for the dance competitions, we have a hair bag, we have a makeup bag, we have all these things. And who had put something in there. And I had done it because neither of them had picked up after themselves. And so I went, I effing did it. And they were just like big eyes. Yeah. And I was like, because neither of you did it. Like, I don't know what we can do. Where have we failed?
Well,
as parents?
actually, I've got an idea about this, and I do a little bit of it
because you lose your mind too.
Oh, sure, but I've started because, for example, Sloane. There's a trail of Sloane when she comes home.
Right.
She just leaves her shoes, her backpack, her jacket, and it's normally what ends up there, because I'll be like, clean up her stuff. It's always her dirty socks that end up just always sitting there.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, if you leave these here, I'm just going to start throwing them away.
Right.
So she'll see me pick them up and head towards the garbage, and then she grabs them real quick. So here's how we do this, and a question that I think Sloan first asked you and then asked me has come to mind. Here's how we get them to walk Roscoe, the dog, is we take Roscoe to somebody's house that's willing to keep him just for the afternoon.
I've already...
Hear me out.
Okay.
The girls come home. Sloan will notice. Quinn, not so much, because Roscoe is Sloan's dog.
Right.
And she'll be like, hey, where's Roscoe? And then I'll be like, well, remember the other day when you asked me the question, if somebody offered me $10,000 for Roscoe, if I would do it? And I remember, because I was 10,000, I'm like, 10,000, probably not. But she's like, well, what about 100,000? And I'm like, well, 100,000, absolutely I would. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
She asks these questions, and then she's shocked by how I answer. And then I said, so wait a minute, hold on. Who is this? She's like, just some stranger. I'm like, okay, maybe I would think about it a little bit. So Roscoe's gone. She comes home.
Uh-huh.
Where's Roscoe? Funny you ask. I was walking Roscoe this afternoon, and the stranger came up and said, hey, excuse me, sir. I've got $100,000. Can I have your dog? And he seemed like a nice guy, so I gave him away.
But how does that correlate to the lesson of walking your dog?
Well, then I say, then she'll be upset and cry. And I'll be like, look, you don't care. You don't walk him. All good. And then the lesson is learned. And then I make the text to the neighbor that's keeping Roscoe, and I bring him to her, and there's a happy reunion, and Roscoe gets walked without question every single day.
That seems extremely traumatizing. I mean, it's content for her therapy sessions in 20 years, but maybe that's it. I don't know. I'm just tired of nobody. You know what? And it's in. Oh, but by the way, I have two things. We bought a house without a backyard. We're idiots. Number one, because if we had a backyard, I would never walk him, and I would open the back door.
Oh, you tried that? There's this place back there. The dog. Hold on. The people who owned the house before, had two dogs.
Yeah,
we know that very well because there's
dog hair still everywhere,
and they made their mark on the carpet.
Yeah,
everywhere they could. They frolicked with joy in that backyard.
How do you know? Because
their toys are back there. It's specifically gated off for dogs back there, so they could just let them out in the backyard. Our Roscoe, our dog.
He's a fair weather dog.
He doesn't like the gravel. He doesn't like the feel of the gravel back there.
Right.
So I would take him back there, and he's like, I don't like this.
Right. Totally.
He'll go out front and like sniff around and be like, it's too cold. Go back inside.
Totally. He does that. Because, my dad has trained his dog, Buster, when he comes to go out there. He's like, no. You go out there. Go to the bathroom. The other thing that Sloan said to me the other day was, after we had this kind of argument about walking the dog, I was in the laundry room doing everyone's laundry again. And she comes in and she goes, I'm going to say something, but don't get mad. And I go, okay. And she goes, I didn't buy Roscoe. You and Dad bought Roscoe. That was your choice. And I said, well, just like you living here and having all of these things, it's part of payment for living here. It's a chore and she was like, okay, whatever.
I'm still thinking, I think Roscoe's going to get purchased by a rich gentleman.
I'm telling you, if you do that, that is going to be one of her childhood scars.
Well,
I don't know.
Walk the damn dog!
I know, seriously. Because you are the one who does everything.
Yeah, so true.
The other thing is that I weigh the fact that they're at dance every single night, so I don't want to give them too much on their plates, but walking the dog every once in a while, because we don't ask for it every day.
No.
We ask for it on Mondays and Wednesdays and on the weekends. That's like really it. And so I feel like they should be able to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we need to read some parenting books.
Tell you, no,
Don't sell the dog. Please don't fake sell the dog.
I've got to figure it out.
Because, by the way, she's like a very emotional child anyway. She'll be hysterical.
School of Hard Knocks. Something like that.
Did your dad ever do that?
No.
You've heard the story of ours. But he didn't do it to teach us a lesson because we had land, but we had a dog, Thor.
Oh, no. We had dogs growing up that we didn't take care of, so my dad got rid of them.
Can I finish my story before you man-interrupt me?
Nope.
I was about their age when we had Thor, and my dad, maybe it was because we weren't taking care of him, I don't know, but my dad decided he was, oh no, it was because he was killing all our chickens. We had chickens at the time.
It's entirely different.
He was killing our ducks and our chickens. And so my dad sold him to a guy down the road.
Yeah.
And then my dad said every day he was driving home from work, he would see Thor chained up outside, just looking miserable.
Right.
So like, it wasn't even, I think it was like 2 weeks later, my dad went to the guy down the road and said, let me just buy him back from you. And the guy was like, well, it's going to cost you more money. So my dad had to pay more money to get Thor back because he felt bad. Anyway, tell your story now,
So
sir.
it's not exactly the same.
No, but we did sell
mine's
a dog.
mine's more in line with that, where we had dogs and we didn't take care of them, and so my dad sold them.
And how did you feel?
Horrible.
And you think about it to this day?
To this day. To this day.
And if you went to therapy, you'd talk about it.
Yeah. Maybe I would.
But you want to do the same thing to your kids. All right.
Never.
You're not breaking the cycle, dude. Okay.
Mine's more creative. Mine's way more imaginative.
I know.
Mine, I'm only making her think I did that. I'm not actually doing it. All right, so what did I do wrong this week?
Well, listen, I don't even necessarily know if I want to get into it. You've been so combative today because you're in this funk and you're irritable.
I'm out of the funk.
No, you're not. You're like uber argumentative. You are driving my dad's point home, I guess. I don't know. So I've got something that I think is, it's not like what you did wrong, but it's pretty funny. So I was talking to my friend Angie a couple days ago, and she was telling me this story. She's married with kids, you know, and this used to happen to us all the time. She got home from work and she was like, oh, I can't wait. They had half a cheese ball in the fridge. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm going to get the cheese ball out. I'm going to sit down, watch some TV, have a glass of wine, eat some crackers. Oh, it's going to be awesome. She went to get in the fridge after work and she couldn't find it. And she's like, that is weird. So she went downstairs, John is her husband, and she was like, did you seriously eat an entire cheese or half of an entire cheese ball? And he was like, yeah. And she was so pissed, which we have experienced this before, where I have been so pissed off because you have eaten something. Unbeknownst, I was looking forward to it and I get home and it's gone. And so I think she went to the store the next day, bought a replacement cheese ball, stuck it in the fridge, and wrote F you in black Sharpie on it. So she had her own cheese ball.
Right.
It's totally something I would do. But it reminded me of a story when we were very early on in our marriage. I don't even know if we were married yet. We were living together. Mm-hmm. And you had bought me for Valentine's Day a box of chocolates, one of those heart box of chocolates.
Yeah.
And I know it annoys you, but I would go in and like eat.
You take a nibble out of every single one.
Yeah, because I have these food things that I do, and I'll just like take a nibble out of one, and if I don't like it, I'll move on.
Then you put it back.
Yeah. Or sometimes if I feel like it's too rich, I'll just take a nibble of it and I'll put it back for later.
Right.
And so, you know, I was eating off that thing for what, like a week? And every day it seemed a little like I was like, I don't remember putting that back there. Or like something's missing, or wait, I thought I ate that whole thing, or whatever, you know, like it just looked different. And come to find out, I don't know how, I think I found it. Come to find out, I found you had bought a replacement box because you had been eating out of it and you didn't want me to get mad. You're laughing off mic right now. That's what happened, right?
I don't remember if that was
so you had bought a second heart box and you were replacing the ones you had eaten.
I think what had happened is that one night in a moment very, very similar to John, I ate way too many of your chocolates. And then I'm like, oh, crap. This was Randy's. I'm going to get in trouble. And so in another act of brilliance, because as we've established in this episode, I come up with some great ideas, great ways to fool people. I ran down to the local Albertsons and bought a duplicate box, and I was just, when I'd eat one, I'd swap it out, and I might have just, you know.
You weren't careful about it.
No,
you could not
it's hard when, it's hard when you've gone through and almost nibbled on everything.
Right.
To remember, and you know, I didn't have the map in front of me. They come with a map.
You'd be a terrible serial killer. You wouldn't be able to like make sure that every track was covered.
Right.
And then on your first wedding ring, I think I had engraved in the inside. Where'd you hide the chocolates?
Where'd you hide the chocolates is your romantic inscribe, which is my first wedding ring because it doesn't fit me anymore.
I thought it broke.
No. I have it. It's just it's titanium and I can't size it.
Okay.
It slips off my finger every time I.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's the 1,000 years from now, they're going to find my dead corpse and they're going to like, oh, let's see what his wife had to say about this guy. And it'll say, where did you hide the chocolates?
Yes. That was my romantic engraving. So my point being, like, it just.
I don't do that anymore.
No. And I have such a weird eating diet now that.
And you admit to it?
Yeah. Oh, but gosh. The problem is that I'm so strict about what I eat during the week that like I go overboard. And last night, because I was looking forward to Sloane's birthday cake,
right?
I ate 3 slices last night.
You ate 3 slices of cake?
3 slices. It was funfetti. It's delicious. But I'll tell you today, I'm having a very bad food hangover. So I don't regret it, but I kind of do.
There's no judgment coming from me.
No, I know.
When it comes to like eating sweets, you'll never have me ever.
I just wish I could like not go overboard, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. My personal trainer
indulge yourself.
She was like, maybe that's just how you're going to live your life.
Right. So. You have these like long stretches of greatness, and then
I think that's legit. I think it's legit an eating disorder, though. But
wait, I'm playing the wrong thing.
I don't know what you're playing.
I'm supposed to be played.
You're taking us out?
I'm taking us out.
You're done with this convo?
Well,
you're going to get out of your funk. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now. You're going to go solve the problem, and then you're going to be perfectly fine. And we could have had that Cort on the podcast instead of the irritated one.
Well, we can come back and record later.
I'm good. I'm good at this point.